Welcome into the final week of the regular season for Power 5 picks. We have rivalry week this weekend. Some games are not as good as they have been in years past, but we're still going to talk about a couple. We do have 3 ranked matchups as well. Quickly to go over our record here. I went 2-3 last week, so a negative day for me brings my record to 38-30, but still plus 5 units. Again, if you take every bet for a unit to win a unit. Then Ethan, 4-1 last week. Unfortunately, we were both on Colorado. That was your one and only loss. Brings your record to 42, 24-1. Again, if you're following all of Ethan's plays to win a unit for the entire season, you'd be up 15.6 units. Ethan, welcome. How's the hot hand doing? And also, we're recording on Friday, so happy post Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Hope you had a good one. Hope everyone watching had a good Thanksgiving. Hopefully it was more profitable than what you and I both had because it was not a good betting day. But yeah, I mean, I've said it 1,000 times. I just wish my actual betting record revealed, looked like the one on the show because it doesn't. I am, as we just looked, 45-50. I'm down almost 8 units. So we'll get it back, hopefully. Try to end the year just slightly positive at this point. But good show record. I hope at least people out there are making money off of our picks.
Right. And again, we say it every single week. Probably listen to what we're saying now. Again, we do post all of our official plays over on Twitter. But again, for whatever reason, what we decide on the show is doing a lot better than what we actually decide to bet. So take that for what you will. But let's start into rivalry week. Let's go to a big ranked matchup over here in South Carolina. Believe this is called, I looked up the rivalry names with some of these. Believe this is called the Palmetto rivalry. And this is between number 15 South Carolina at number 12 Clemson. Clemson is a 3-point favorite. Over under is 49 points. Who do you got in this? Actually going to be probably one of the better ranked rivalries in this history between these two teams. Usually South Carolina isn't this highly ranked, but both teams playing pretty good. Who do you got in this one?
Yeah, this game's really tough for me. I don't love it. It's just lean. I'm going to give out Clemson here. My issue is Clemson just hasn't beat anybody, but at this stage in the contest, I think there's more that they're playing for here than South Carolina. South Carolina, they beat Texas A&M, they beat Missouri. I don't know. We aren't super high on Missouri. Texas A&M was a good win, but outside of those, they haven't really beaten anybody either. But yeah, I guess, this line opened at 11.5. It's now 2.5 because of South Carolina's 5-game win streak. They've kind of come out of nowhere to look like a really good team. I'm seeing they're a little bit public here. Yeah, it's kind of a coin flip for me. I don't love the game whatsoever. So I'm going to give out Clemson on a lean. They've been there, done that. They have a shot to make the ACC championship game if Miami goes out and loses to Syracuse this week, which it's an 11-point spread, but it's going to be difficult. I mean, it's up in Syracuse. Yeah. Miami's not that great. Don't call me shocked if Syracuse wins that one. So give me Clemson. I think we could potentially see them in the ACC championship game once all said and done.
Yeah, that's a good thing. We were only talking about 5 games, but there's a lot of rivalry, big games this weekend where I do think we're going to see a lot of crazy things happen. So I'm right there with you. I'm not super high on Miami at all. And Syracuse is a tough team, especially at home. And Miami has been playing pretty much every single game close. So that is a good point. But I'm right there with you. I'm taking Clemson as well. Simply following the money here. You said South Carolina is public. I am seeing the money is starting to pour in on Clemson here. Yeah, I think South Carolina is a good story. I do think Clemson's ultimately the better team. I do believe South Carolina has won this game a couple times in the years past. Did they win it last? I think they've won 2 years in a row. I'll have to look back at it, but I'm pretty sure South Carolina has won this game 2 years in a row. I think Clemson's a little pissed off. So I think Clemson takes it to them, but I do think it is going to be an entertaining game. Hopefully Clemson can cover by a field goal or more. But yeah, not one of my favorite bets, but again, it's probably one of the better rivalry games this weekend. So it's going to be a great game to watch. If I do get involved, it will be on Clemson here. Let's move to the game. Again, in years past, this was number 1 versus number 2 versus number 3, yada, yada, yada. We have unranked Michigan, who is now bowl eligible, by the way, traveling to number 2 Ohio State for the rivalry of all of sports. Ohio State is now, this line's moving a little bit. As of right now, they're a 19-point favorite. Over under is 42 and a half. I'll take this one really quick. I am taking Michigan. And again, I am a Michigan fan, so probably just don't go throwing money on them. I am super biased, but I mean, Michigan's in a dangerous spot. I think they don't care about anything. They don't care if they lose by 40. They already made their bowl game. They'll probably be played in the Cheez-Its Bowl or the Outdoor Camping World Bowl or some BS like that. But they made their bowl game. No one expects them to beat Ohio State. I think they're going to go for on a lot of fourth downs, a lot of trick plays, a lot of just crap to try to do anything they can to take Ohio State off guard. And again, everyone's expecting Ohio State to win. They've lost 3 years in a row. They're pissed. They're playing a very bad Michigan team. On paper, they should take it to them. I can't really tell what's public. I think Ohio State slightly, but it's pretty close to 50-50. But the line has came down almost 3 points now since open. Well, since the recent open. I think this line opened at 10 at the beginning of the year. And obviously things have taken a turn for the worse for Michigan. But yeah, I think Michigan's in a dangerous spot. I don't think they can win it outright. I hope they can. But there is a system out there as well, not just me spitting straight bias, but there is a system out there when it is a low total, like 42 and a half. It is usually a solid play to take a high underdog on the spread. So 19-point spread with a 42 and a half point total. I'll take a shot that Michigan can maybe score, 14 points. And if they do that, theoretically, they probably can cover if the spread or if the total stays low scoring. So, yeah, Michigan, I don't love it at all. I will be on it, though. I got to bet them one last time before, again, their stupid bowl game. But I do think they are in a dangerous spot to just throw some crap out there. So it's always dangerous when one team has nothing to lose, another team has everything to lose. So I'll take a shot on my boys in blue. How about you?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I actually like Michigan quite a bit, and it's jumping in front of the really good teams is always scary. I do it every week in the NFL. I feel like against Detroit, except yesterday because I didn't want to upset my family, and of course that would have hit. But it's scary jumping in front of Ohio State. But everything you just mentioned, Michigan doesn't care. Even if they weren't bowl eligible, I don't think they would care. This team is off a national championship. Every recruit, every transfer, every player that stayed on that team wanted to compete for another one this year, and it just hasn't happened. They don't care about, like you said, the Cheez-It Bowl or, whatever. This is their game. This is the game that they care about. Most players might even opt out of that bowl game. Who knows? But yeah, this is the one on their schedule that they want. And on the flip side, Ohio State, all they need is a win, and they get a rematch against Oregon. They're one loss on the schedule, the one game that's keeping them out of the number one overall seed. I guarantee they're already looking ahead at Oregon, trying to make some adjustments from that first game. They think they can just go into their home arena, beat Michigan, who has not played very well this year. They don't need to win by margin. It's not one of those teams that's fighting for that playoff spot. They're in, win or lose. So, yeah, I think Michigan's absolutely the play here. The line is super telling, being 19 points. I think tomorrow we'll see public pour in on Ohio State when, oh, you can get them to win by less than 3 full touchdowns. Like, sign me up for that. Michigan's defense, I think, is good enough to keep them in the game. We were at Ann Arbor last week, saw the offensive explosion. Yes, it was against Northwestern, but 50 points on anybody is still impressive, especially when your offense hasn't clicked quite like it should all season. So, yeah, I kind of think Michigan's finding their stride offensively. I think their defense is good enough to keep them in it. I think they're honestly have more to play for. Ohio State, if it comes down late and it's close, Ohio State's going to play hard to get the win, but to cover by 3 touchdowns, I don't see it happening. So give me Michigan. Fairly confident in that play.
Wow, I love it. Definitely nervous, but I do love it. Let's move on to probably the second biggest rivalry in college football. This is the Iron Bowl between Auburn and number 13 Alabama. Alabama is a 12.5 point favorite. Over under is 52.5. I'm going to send it to our Fairweather Alabama fan to take this one first.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one I don't love quite as much, but I will lean with Alabama. Here's my issue, though. They're still alive to make the playoffs somehow. I think it is a really good bet. It's like minus 350 for them to miss, but I really don't see them making the playoff with 3 losses. But but they are technically still alive. So, you know, I just wonder how they're going to come off that Oklahoma game. Part of me thinks they could come out flat, just like they were at Oklahoma. The other part of me thinks they could come out and steamroll Auburn, try to get a decisive 30-point win, and then have that as their last bit of ammunition to fight for that playoff spot. Meanwhile, we saw Auburn last week. You and I both liked Auburn. Go to 4 overtimes and end up beating Texas A&M, which was a huge win for them. This game would make them bowl eligible. Uh, but again, I mean, Auburn hasn't been great in years past, but are they really playing for the Pop Tart Bowl? Like, this is Auburn. It's a huge school. Um, so I mean, this is their bowl game as well. And then I'll just keep saying it because I say it every time we talk about Auburn. Do I really think Peyton Thorne can go out and keep it close with Alabama? I just don't. I know he did against Texas A&M, but that guy is just not good. So it's a slight lean to Alabama, but it's not a play that I'm looking to make.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look at this one how I normally would look at a game and just forget that it's a massive rivalry game. Auburn's off with probably one of the most emotional wins of all of college football last week. You know, knocking off A&M from playoff contention in 4 overtimes. We always love fading that team off a either a massive emotional win or loss. That hangover spot is just way too good to bet against. So if I just ignore the fact that it's a massive rivalry game and this game's always close, you know, last year Bama should have lost this game. It was I don't even know the odds of them to win that game. What was it, 4th and 20, and they threw a BS goal line fade and they caught it and ultimately got them into the playoffs. Um, but they should have lost that game. And these games are always close, but I just got to keep remembering that it's a terrible spot for Auburn. You know, big win. Now they're playing an Alabama team that is pissed off about the loss last week, is fighting like you're saying for a potential outside playoff chance. Um, I think yeah, I just think it's too much for Auburn. I like Bama. Like you said, I do think they win this one pretty decisively. I don't ever advocate for adjusted spreads or teasing points up or down, but this maybe would be a one if you want to take maybe Bama, minus 20 and a half or something. I would maybe be all there for it. Again, don't recommend it, but I do think Bama takes it to them. So I'm agreeing there. 3 games in, 3 agreements. Now we have 2 more ranked games. And honestly, these ones are my least confident. We'll start with the lesser of the two, number 24, Kansas State at number 18, Iowa State. Iowa State, as of right now, is a 2-point favorite. This line has also been moving. Over under is 51 and a half. I did look up this rivalry name, and I don't even know if this is true, but it came up as Farmageddon. So I guess 2 farming schools. And I don't think that's actually a word that they use, but supposedly that's the name of this rivalry. I like Kansas State quite a bit. I think Kansas State wins it outright. Too much firepower, in my opinion. I know they have 3 losses in the year, but yeah, their quarterback's a stud. They're kind of similar to Colorado, in my opinion. They have a lot of studs. They just don't execute all the time. Whereas Iowa State, I think, is more sound, but just don't have the athletes that Kansas State does. So I like Kansas State to win this game. I have no idea the Big 12 standings or implications. I have no idea who's in the Big 12 championship game. Couldn't tell you. All these guys are like 2, 3 losses. So couldn't really tell you what they're playing for. I know whatever I would say, I would just be lying or guessing. So no idea what the implications are, but I do think Kansas State's a better team. I'll take them at the +2 in this game. How about you?
Yeah, I believe there are 9 Big 12 teams still fighting for the Big 12 championship. So don't know. Both these teams are playing for it. Um, I think Kansas State would need more help than what Iowa State might be in with a win. I'm not 100% sure, but this will be our first disagreement. I will go Iowa State, but again, it's probably my least confident on the board. And it's really just K State has not played well as of late. Yeah, they go out and beat Cincinnati, woohoo. Lose to Arizona State, which not a bad loss. Lost to Houston, not great. Um, Almost lost to Kansas. I know that's a rivalry game, not great. So 4 weeks of not necessarily playing their best football. Somehow still in the rankings. I just think Iowa State, like you said, a little bit more sound, better defensively. I think they can control the pace of play, slow down Kansas State, and maybe crawl their way to a low scoring win. I do think if Iowa State wins, it stays under. If Kansas State wins, it probably goes over the total. If you can somehow find a way to parlay that, which I don't think they let you do on any book, but yeah, that's the best I have for you. It's not a game I'm looking to bet whatsoever. It's just basically a coin flip. I'm going to lean Iowa State, but we'll see where the money pours in the next 24 hours, see if I actually get involved.
Yeah, if anyone in the comments could explain to us what's going on in the Big 12 with who's going to make it and who's not, that would be much appreciated and very helpful. So let us know, or just let us know your prediction of who's going to win the Big 12. Because honestly, again, there's like 10 teams in contention here. That brings us to our final game of the regular season for Power 5 picks, brought to you by Better in Green. We have number 3, Texas, at number 20, Texas A&M. Texas is a 5-point favorite. Over under is 49.5. Again, I looked up the name if there was a name for this. It's called the Lone Star Showdown. Again, I've never heard that term be used, just like Farmageddon for Kansas State, Iowa State. But a fun fact of the day for you. That's what it's called. But yeah, I kind of love A&M in this game. I think A&M wins outright and really throws a loop into the SEC. We were just talking about Bama. I don't know if they get in with a Texas loss, but it definitely spices things up a bit. A&M, I do think, is unfortunately out, even though I think they're also a 3-loss team. But I'm just not sold on Texas. I mean, they really played one good team, and that was Georgia. And they lost by 15, but that easily could have been a much higher loss there. I'm just not super sold on them, I guess. And A&M bad loss last week. They have some good loss or good wins in there, but they also have some pretty bad. They got smoked by South Carolina, like we mentioned earlier here. I don't know. I think A&M gets up for this game. I think they cover the 5. It is, it's not as much of a thing in college football as it is in the NFL, where we like to fade the 5-point favorite or the 5-point spread. But for whatever reason, I think it's just more gut. I just have a gut that A&M is going to win this game. So I'll take them at the +5, like the under quite a bit as well, but I'm not going to give that one out. I'll take a shot on Aggies for the upset, but for the graphic, +5 for me.
Yeah, we're gonna end the show agreeing on this one. And really everything you just said. Yeah, first of all, the winner of this game will go on to face Georgia in the SEC
Oh, okay.
championship game. So, yeah, A&M very much alive to make the playoff if they can win this one and then uh, beat Georgia or even maybe hang close with Georgia. We'll see. But yeah, I like A&M. Like you said, I'm not bought in on Texas. I don't really think Texas is the better team in this matchup. I think Texas A&M is better. Clearly, they were looking ahead. We spoke about what Coach said last week of their full focus was on Texas, or I mean Auburn. Yeah, we saw how that panned out. Didn't win. Clearly looking ahead to Texas here. Yeah, both teams have everything to play for. Texas has not impressed. They've won every game since Georgia, like you said, but I don't know. They beat Vandy by 3, Kentucky by 17, Arkansas by 10. I mean, they're not blowing teams out like maybe they should as the third best team in the country, quote unquote. So, yeah, I think A&M, playing for everything Texas is in this game. I just think Texas is ultimately the better team here. And then Texas, they might have a small look ahead to that Georgia game if they think they can go away and beat Texas A&M and try to get revenge on Georgia in that championship game. Yeah, I hope Texas A&M wins it. Not sure if they do, but I do think they'll cover the 5.5. So give me A&M. Yeah, probably my second favorite bet that we've talked about today.
I love it. A lot of agreement for us today, which is a good sign for me because, again, Ethan is red hot on the show. But that's going to do it for week 14 of Power 5 Picks. We will have one more episode next week of the conference championship week. And then from there, it's strictly bowl games, solo episodes. Again, we go through every single bowl game, give you like a 5-minute prediction preview and our bets of each bowl game. And then this year, we do have quite a bit of playoff games as well with that introduction of the 12-team playoff. So one more full episode of Power 5 Picks, and then we're going to individual games. So really looking forward to those. Those videos usually do pretty well. We will cover it all from the Motor City Bowl to the Orange Bowl. So every BS game that's getting played on a Tuesday at 11 a.m. Look over to Better in Green. We got you covered. But do you have anything to add before we sign out for the end of the regular season of Power 5 Picks?
No, can't believe it's coming to an end with how my year has gone. I'm not super sad about it, but it's been a good last couple weeks. Maybe I'm finally starting to see it well, but yeah, hope everyone has a profitable final week of the regular season, and then let's kill it for conference championships, bowl games, and all the way through the playoffs.
Yeah, and with the decline of college football and just the less games going on, we will have more time and opportunities to give you guys more NBA, college basketball, and NHL videos and bets for you guys. I know we've kind of been slacking there a little bit, just a lot going on, and we want to make sure we have you covered for college football. But yeah, stay tuned for especially college basketball. I know me and Ethan are avid college basketball watchers. There's a couple great games this past week, and a lot more games as we start conference play this upcoming week. So stay tuned for that. And then also we will be adding some NHL, NBA, and we, as always, have our NFL show. And then Ben and Bobby do a great job on Tapping Vegas, which is their MMA show. So look, we got it all here at Better in Green. Make sure you do like, subscribe, and share. We really appreciate it. It's the best way to support us with what we do. But from here, good luck, guys. Enjoy the last regular season week of college football. We might have some snow games. I am back in Michigan. We got about 4 inches out here. So stay tuned for some weather games and also the good addition, the playoff games. Some possible cold weather playoff games with these SEC teams coming up to the great and powerful North. So looking forward to that. But we appreciate you guys. Happy Friday, and hopefully you enjoy an action-packed weekend of college football. We'll see you guys next time.
You better start listening to the Better in Green podcast. You will not regret it. Trust me, trust me, trust me. And hey, I'm Dean Blandino.
Welcome to Better in Green, eh? To Better in Green, eh? To Better in Green, eh? Listening and cash out, that's what it's all about. Come on, let's make cash now. We always on spot and we cover all spots from the bottom to the top. Hey, shout out to Ethan, shout out to Wyatt, shout out to Ben. Welcome to our podcast, Better in Green.